Happy Chinese New Year and welcome to Dialogue. I'm Yang Rui in Beijing. In a few hours, we'll embrace the year of a monkey. Chinese people prefer the witty, clever, and agile monkey in contrast to the docile sheep. Additionally, the popular Chinese story of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, has always given the image of a monkey a tinge of adventure and rebellion. Today, we'll discuss the special history of the monkey in Chinese society and what influence the monkey has exerted on Chinese culture. To answer those questions, let's meet Professor David Moser from Capital Normal University and Professor Jun Cheng, an intercultural filmmaker. But before we start the interview, let's give you a brief introduction to China's monkey culture.
The year of the monkey is coming. As the ninth animal of the Chinese zodiac, the monkey is one of the favorite creatures of China. And when talking about monkeys, the first impression that leaps into a Chinese person's mind is the Monkey King. The legendary and almighty hero, but with a human touch, originates in the novel Journey to the West. Witty, but also naughty. Rebellious but also hilarious, the Monkey King in the 1986 TV series has entertained several generations and still remains one of the most popular TV figures in China. In 2015, an animated movie, Monkey King, Hero is Back, became a phenomenon when it ignited audiences' love for their childhood hero once again. In addition to China, there are also images of the Monkey King in other countries. The most famous and influential is in the Japanese manga master Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball. But monkeys are not always associated with the positive. In China's traditional idioms and phrases, the monkey is often used as a negative character to educate people. There is a Chinese idiom, Shui Zhong Lao Yue, which in English means fish for the moon in the water. In this story, during a moonlit night, a group of monkeys see the moon's reflection in the water and try in vain to catch it. A story that teaches people not to make ill-conceived efforts for hopeless goals. Another phrase, mu ho er guan, or a monkey with a hat on, is a sarcastic expression used to criticize those who look impressive but lack real worth or substance. In other words, an ape is an ape, though decked with gold.
Welcome to Dialogue. Let's start with the human interest stuff. Actually, kind of an assumption that last year an official from a health department said that the birth rate plummeted due to Chinese people's dislikes against the year of a goat or sheep, because babies born in this year may look sheepish, don't have a strong character or personality, so the parents won't like to give birth. Now this year, the birth rate is likely to recover. Now what do you make of the Chinese dislikes and likes?
Well, the 12 Chinese zodiac signs are actually 12 universal energies or spirits that actually give force to your daily reality. So based on this belief, the Chinese people are deeply embedded with this zodiac sign culture. To me, if you're born in the year of sheep, you may have a life of a monkey. So I'm not exactly 100% believe in the zodiac sign in that sense. So it is destiny defying to me. I guess at least my concept. Would you agree with me?
A very good explanation, but David, it seems what June says is based on the assumption that the monkey has a very good symbolic implication. Do you agree?
Well, certainly in Chinese culture it does. We don't have a monkey in our astrology, and furthermore in the Western astrology you can't plan your birth to be in a certain month. It doesn't work quite that way, but in China you have the luxury of deciding
because the
Westerners
are too romantic hopelessly.
They
don't calculate carefully.
Right, and until recently you could only have one child in this culture, whereas we can have, people have 10. So we don't worry so much about what animal they are. Mm-hmm. They turn out to be whatever animal they're going to be.
Then what do you make of the special meaning of a monkey in Chinese culture?
Well, the monkey in Chinese culture, to me, monkey is a symbol of freedom. he is the very embodiment of transformation because he has the skill, at least in Chinese novel, Sun Wukong, he has a skill of 72. He can transform within 72 formats, and he has this golden fiery eyes and this steel body. And so he can become anybody. So he is a symbol of courage to me, a symbol of freedom.
What do you make of this traditional spirit of rebellion implied deeply in the classical novel called A Journey to the West?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Sun Wukong is sort of the Monkey King is sort of an icon, or sort of a sort of archetype in Chinese culture of the independent rebel. There are sort of two sides, as I see it, to Chinese culture. Part of it is this sort of Confucian notion of the gentleman and of sort of the orthodoxy, and the other is sort of rebellion, as exemplified in The Monkey King, and also in novels like
uprisings.
Stories, novels like Water Margin, 水浒传. Yeah.
少不看水浒, children are not expected to read Water Margin or All Men Are Brothers
Right.
Under the Same Heaven, because all the characters in the novel are too rebellious, and the parents are concerned about this spirit of
So there are
disobedience.
these two extremes in Chinese culture. One of unity and stability, and the other is chaos and rebellion. And the monkey definitely is on that side of rebellion, chaos, and in The Monkey King, raising ruckus in heaven and then being imprisoned by the Buddha. He definitely is in the rebel class for sure.
But when you look at many Chinese idioms and phrases, you'll find something like 衣冠禽兽, a bad guy in disguise of a gentleman. Why monkeys are portrayed like bad guy?
I think it's about the duality of a character. If a character is so magically powerful, mysteriously playful, and he's bound to have another side that is probably not as positive as the powerful side. So sometimes people need to give you a sense of like he is a negative or bad person. So I think it's about the duality of this culture. One has to provide a different layers of meaning to this one character. Otherwise, it's not as dynamic. What
Do you think the
about
duality of the character is the same with the split mentality, split character, and the second does carry a very bad implication, it seems?
Well, John here is a film expert. There's the type of character in a film that we call the anti-hero.
Yeah.
Someone who is the protagonist and has some good qualities, and the audience identifies with, but also is not quite an orthodox good boy. It's someone who has some of his qualities, or quite frankly has some faults. Mm-hmm. And I think, as this dual character that you're talking about, the monkey is clever. The monkey thinks outside of the box. The monkey is capable of doing amazing things, but the monkey is also surreptitious, a little bit selfish, a little bit uncontrolled, a little bit a victim of their own desires and their own little faults. So it is a dual character. That's why the monkey is more interesting. Of all the characters in the COG, Zhu Bajie is interesting, the pig, but the monkey is the one who has the most exportability. If you look across in overseas and everything, it's the Monkey King that everyone's attracted to.
But I feel the most interesting aspect of this monkey is playfulness, is his immaturity, is his to-be-educated quality. He has this sense of trying to grow up. You see, it's not a mature character that he is demanding something. He is in the process of growing. So I think this is a character that can give our Chinese youngsters some sense of a personal growth. And maybe that's why it can be identified by the foreigners too, as we don't have enough Chinese heroes.
But I'm afraid, very much like the way you read the 红楼梦, the Red Mansion Dream, different readers may have different interpretations about the character of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. For example, at the initial stage of his life, he was very rebellious, and therefore he was captured by Sakyamuni, and he was suppressed by the Five-Finger Mountain. But then, on their journey to the west, which was described as a pilgrimage, he was very loyal to Tang Sheng, his master. So what do you make of the mixed feeling of this Monkey King?
Mixed feeling of Monkey King. I love this character. This is a magical character with magics on his side, and he is full of sense of justice, and he is a symbol of freedom, and he can morph himself into plants or animals or beautiful women. So he is really treading a path, a journey to the West is his journey, although in essence is the Xuanzang's journey, searching for the enlightenment. But I think personally is Sun Wukong's journey, who is trying to grow up, going through this journey of becoming someone from a child. As we know, he was born out of this magic womb of a stone, of Nuwa. So I think it's his personal journey, but in the setting of this great pilgrimage, searching for enlightenment, of a journey of 3 or 4 people.
But what do you think of the present-day interpretation of 大圣归来, Hero is Back, one of the most popular box-hitting films of the year 2015, the year of sheep? And young people seem to be mesmerized by the mixed feeling, the mixed image of 大圣, the hero.
Well, I think the 大圣归来, 大圣, the so-called 大圣 is the great sage equal to heaven. When he's returning, and I'm wondering about as to what's the wisdom he embodies. I'm trying to understand our Chinese young audience today, why they're fascinated about the character. Again, I feel is, despite all the economic growth in China, there's still a very limited freedom in terms of personal expression. Perhaps this great sage embodies a sense of self-transformation. Perhaps the young audience are seeking for personal expression, which is very much lacking in Chinese society, which emphasizes on community and collectiveness. And I suspect that might be part of the reason. Would you agree with me?
You know, many individuals who demand unconditional individual liberty might be given a lesson in a society like autocracy, given the misery that the Monkey King went through along the pilgrimage. He emerged stronger at the end of the long march. And therefore, that reminds me of what Karl Marx says. Freedom is actually based on the awareness of necessity. You cannot enjoy unrivaled, unconditional, absolute freedom. Therefore, after 500 years of being suppressed by the Five-Finger Mountain imposed by Sakyamuni, this Monkey King, who used to be a soldier, learned where to stop, where to go. He knows the limit of the journey.
If you're looking for the reasons why people are attracted to the story, and Joanne knows this because she's a filmmaker, the reality is that the process of growth, the process of transformation, the process of reaching some resolution and conclusion is the drama. That's what everyone likes to see. When you actually then reach stability or you reach success, then you enter a new phase, which from a dramatic point of view is boring. So this is why love stories have the comings and goings and the breaking ups and everything, and then once they get together, they get married, the show stops. I mean, the story ends because then it gets boring, you know. Then they start paying their taxes and having kids. And it's the same thing with the Monkey King. The Monkey King has to go through all these transformations. When he finally realizes, self-actualizes, then the story gets boring, right?
Yeah, perhaps what you call transformation might be what we call reincarnation or rebirth of a great monkey who emerges stronger by the end of the journey. You are watching Dialogue with Joanne Chen and David Moser. We're discussing what message the Year of the Monkey might deliver to the rest of the world, particularly in the context of Chinese culture, if not Confucianism. We'll be back in a short while. Stay with us. Welcome back. We are reading too much into this novel, Journey to the West. But I think it deserves, I mean, it's worthwhile reading into this novel, which might have tried very hard to conceal some hidden message against that the particular historical background of the feudal times, the high-handed suppression of the emperors and the autocracy, not autocracy, but absolutely totalitarianism in feudal society.
Well, come to think of it, twice right now, as I was talking about totalitarian nature of its punishment. Now I'm thinking about it is maybe the very intention of a Buddha who want to train the monkey to be a very strong, like, warrior. I think maybe it is the very best intention of the Buddha who provide a second chance for him. So now it is not just I think I may want to revise what I was thinking earlier as we enter this discussion.
Yeah, we
I
have
think
we have a set phrase 放下屠刀立地成佛.
we need to
Okay.
rise above the surface to seek the nature of the Buddhism
Now,
of this
test a
program.
quiz for you. What's the translation for 放下屠刀立地成佛?
Put down everything and you become a Buddha, right?
Put down the weapons.
Put down your weapons
Farewell
and
to weapons, and
immediately
you'll
become
become
a
a
Buddha.
However, monkey itself has a very beautiful gold staff, which is his primary weapon, which is a magical tool for him to beat up the evil. That's something maybe we can talk about.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, we have been talking about the animal of a monkey, but in Chinese culture, we have two other very powerful symbols, different animals, for example, giant panda and dragon. You know, if you look at the cover of Economist, one of the most prestigious journals I like so much, among all others, they always use the symbol of a panda to portray China as a deceptive animal. You know, panda looks very cute, lovely. But if you look at the Hollywood blockbuster of Kung Fu Panda, you have a different feeling, right? What's your take about the Kung Fu Panda and the message that this movie delivers?
The very Chinese icon, panda, is now being exploited by Hollywood, Disney in particular. And they're very smart to combine clumsy panda with feisty kung fu. So this new character become this very embodiment of adventure, of overcoming himself. So I think it's just a great character, similar to Sun Wukong's journey searching for himself. Panda is now looking for his father. Now they're searching for their own identity. It's similar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yet again, it's a story about rediscovery of oneself. The giant panda, initially portrayed as a clumsy, slow, honest, eventually turned out to be the only animal that beat Da Long, the fierce-looking dragon, which was taken as a symbol of evil by the Hollywood movie. What do you make of the duality of Chinese national character? On the one hand, we could be a rebellious monkey. On the other hand, we could be a clumsy, honest, and lovely panda.
Well, it's not surprising. All cultures are multicultural. All cultures have different aspects. They have at different epochs or different eras. They manifest different qualities. So I don't think see anything unusual about that. You know that the symbol of America is the American eagle, right? You see on the dollar bill and everything. What a lot of people don't know is that Ben Franklin advocated that the American symbol should be the turkey, because that was the most common indigenous bird of North America. And people said, a turkey? You can't have a turkey. But I think it would be great if we had a turkey and an eagle, because both are very American. And the same thing with China. The panda is one aspect of China, the dragon is another aspect, and the monkey is another.
But here is the raging debate in this election year back in the United States, when people again single out China as a scapegoat, bashing China ruthlessly when necessary, when talking about the alleged outsourcing of American jobs, the manipulation of exchange regime, so on and so forth. China is said to be a threat. On the other hand, many Chinese feel that they are very innocent. They have been misunderstood. They say, we don't want to be a hegemony. We just want to come across as a peacemaking force in the world, in the multipolar world. So which image of China do you think should be more acceptable and closer to our own perception of ourselves, our own rediscovery of ourselves, very much like how panda and the monkey transforms themselves?
Well, China is very enigmatic. It's a paradox to many. If you see China from the insider's view, it is a China that considers itself to be the center of the world. It didn't open it up until 1972 when Nixon visited China. But if you see China from the Western point of view, it is a closed society that has a power of the awakening giant. It used to be the place for manufacturers. Now it is a place for all kinds of IPs to be explored, making movies. Now you have big Wanda buying U.S. Hollywood studios. So I think it's a paradox, and I cannot really say it's one image over another. It is mythical image almost, but China is definitely standing in front of the world with a new image, and it's definitely need its image to be understood or redefined by the Westerns and by themselves too.
What,
Would you agree?
what John suggests actually is a paradoxical evolution of Chinese image in terms of what animals actually represent. Panda, monkey, dragon, you name it. How do you decipher the image of panda, monkey, and dragon?
These are convenient symbols. They're cliches. They're overused. They're ways of oversimplifying. But that sometimes is useful. You probably know there's a slang term for two types of foreigners' attitudes towards China. The people who are more friendly towards China are called panda huggers, and the ones who are antagonistic are called dragon slayers.
Dragon slayer or
slayers,
blue
right?
team, yeah.
So we use those two terms as convenient sort of images for these stereotypes, for these types of attitudes. Stereotypes sometimes have a nice effect of clarifying or simplifying to the point where you can easily make simple statements about it, but we should realize if what it is, they're just stereotypes. They're just ways, convenient ways that we use. And I think every country does have these multifaceted qualities, whether it, and especially a superpower or a major world power like China and the United States. I think we should probably have fun with them and talk about these things as ways of making parody or ways of simplifying, but we shouldn't get too caught up in taking them very seriously. They're mainly ways of just talking.
Animals are the lazy symbols to be employed. Given the cultural complexity of China, do you sometimes feel confused when you try to convey a message to your Western audiences and viewers? Look, China is not that simple.
I think while we're thinking about the world in terms of are we friends with the United States, if we're partners, are we enemies to each other, we need to think about, we as a whole, to think about our relationship with the world, or with the universe, with the planet. Or we need to have a major concern of our Earth. Instead of being an enemy with each other, we should join force to really think about our relationship with animals, with living beings, with the universe. We need to have a more cosmic viewpoint to think about the future. Now it's coming 2016.
Yeah, I think that this sort of discussion, this analysis of symbols, I think is very interesting for understanding a culture, because the way that symbols are employed, the things that the meanings that they accrue, are sometimes keys to understanding the history and the history of ideas of a culture. But when it comes to ideology, I think that these things can get very complicating, and they're good for cartoons on the covers of magazines, but that cartoon has to be backed up with some underlying complexity and nuance. And of course, these are very complex. The differences between China and the West are very obvious, but they're very nuanced, and they need careful analysis. And I think that it's good to draw on these cultural symbols. They're handles on the ideas, but we shouldn't mistake them for the actual ideas themselves. We have to deal with the differences in all their nuance and complexity.
If we can broaden our vision a little bit on the idea of monkey, if we can also think about the apes, if we can just think about a few films in Hollywood produced, if we have King Kong and then we have Planet of the Apes, the reason for me to mention that is because that movie's concern is about the concern of planet as a universe. I just feel it's a much bigger concern than like between humans or between like us and animals. I think we need to have a cosmic view to really think about our well-being. I think the world is very much apocalyptic right now. I think it really concerns me as a filmmaker. So I feel when we talk about humans, it's way beyond humans. There's many dimensions other than humans. Can we just think a little further?
David, what do you make of the fury of this animal, the King Kong?
Well, that's a very different topic. But yes, that's a big ape. I think that a movie like King Kong catches the public imagination because it embodies an abstract idea subconsciously. So the notion of King Kong is this huge, powerful force, which the people who captured this animal and tried to bring it back to the West were trying to contain it for financial reasons or whatever. They were trying to make money off of it, and they thought, this is something that we can control. And the subconscious message that the viewers come away with is that these are things that you should toy with at your own peril. That something that kind of power is going to come back and bite you if you don't handle it. It can escape, as King Kong does, and of course famously climbs up on top of the New York Empire State Building. And it's a metaphor for how, you know, we recklessly abuse these powers of nature. You could call it the power of the atom or the power of, you know, the mighty rivers or whatever. It's a metaphor, right? And I think that's why it works.
When we converge here to deliver our different interpretations about what the Monkey King actually embodies, we seem to have forgotten, and we are a few steps short of mentioning two other important things. Important symbols concerning the image of a Monkey King. The powerful weapon, the stick, 金箍棒, and also 金箍咒. You know, the 金箍咒is compared to shackles imposed by the rulers. But this weapon in the hands of the monkey was used to fight for his own dignity and rights. So what do you think of the contradiction between these two powerful symbols? One is the law and order, the other is the spirit of individual liberty, perhaps.
I like
Am
this.
I going too far?
No, you're beautiful, your question. I love this golden staff, which he can transform it into as small as a little needle size
put it into his ear.
in its ears. So he is a magical, he's almost like a magician. And with the other staff on his mind, or on his head, is his, maybe that's his reason part, is a sense of control. So then he has his freedom in his hand, then he has sense of control. So I think it's balance, I think, maybe in a way. And he's
obviously, her
challenging.
interpretation is slightly different from mine, because she says it's part of the reason, but I said it's like shackles imposed from outside, from above, from the authorities. Do you accept mine as closer to what
I
you think?
think you're both right. They're both sides of the same thing. In a certain sense, you know, reason, sensibility, a sense of reality is at the same time it is powerful because it gives you a sense of reality. But at the same time, it's a shackle. It means you cannot do anything. You can go so far and no further. That's the reality of the situation. Whereas the message of the tool is that you have infinite power. You can do anything. The truth is between. So I think you're both right.
So we are coming to the end of this lovely discussion about the message of the Monkey King. So what are your New Year's greetings to our viewers around the world?
As we welcome the Year of the Monkey, I would love us to celebrate the spirit of adventure, spirit of courage. And I want us to leave the comfort of the familiar, to enter into the journey of the West, maybe to the east or the north or the south. I want us to celebrate a world with differences, and let us try to find a more harmonious relationship between human and animals, and also with the universe. That is, celebrate the world as one.
Wow. I don't think I can do something that philosophical. That was beautiful. I would just say simply, I don't like this idea of people having fewer babies in the year of the sheep. It makes no sense to me. It's the year of the monkey. Go out and have another baby. Have your second baby. Two monkeys, you know.
Yeah, with the blessing of this two-child policy.
Yeah.
And my greeting, my blessing for our viewers is that we have a Chinese saying which is becoming more popular: 说走就走的旅行. Okay, whenever you want to travel, do it the next day, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy life.
But if you were born in the year of sheep, that doesn't mean you cannot lead a life of monkey.
I'm a rabbit, by the way.
Okay.
Okay, until then, goodbye. Two rabbits.